So this is just a little bit of a impromptu little natter with a beautiful lady that I connected with on the Feminine Frequency Business School. Her name is Laurie Cole, and her website is Love, Learn and Laugh with Laurie. So this little conversation was all about what she does. So I have been living in this personal branding world, in love with human design, and I've read the Gen Keys, and as I've shared, I've learnt Reiki and now a certified Reiki master, which is pretty exciting. And when Laurie said on one of our Q&As on the Feminine Frequency Business School that she was doing Akashic Records. Now, I know that I'm a mess myself in this world, and some of you are like, what is that? So I'm just going to like rewind a little bit and share what that is. So our soul, we have a body, we have a human vessel, and we have a soul inside our human vessel. Get that the right way around. And our soul, this is what I believe, because who knows whether we'll ever know, right? Maybe we're not meant to. Anyway, our soul is having, my Belinda soul is having this human experience in this Belinda body. And it's had this soul experience from the moment I was born to now in this human body. And I'll go a little bit deeper. Wasn't going to. But at the same time, my soul is actually having other experiences in other vessels, in other timelines. Anyway, that's going really deep. I know some people don't even want to go there, but I'm like, why not? So what Laurie does is she does these beautiful readings with you where she goes into that channel, into that frequency, into your records, and she unravels it for you. Things that might be blocking you, your gifts, your all those exciting things, looking at your records. So that's one thing that she does. And the other thing that she does is she does allergy healing, but not on the, you know, when you're a kid, you'd have your prick test up your arm to see what, grass and pollen and etc., etc. But she goes a little bit deeper in regards to, as I'll share on this podcast, other things, maybe water, a fear of water. I'm not going to say any more. Or why was I scared of heights? And so those can be allergies too. There we go, going a bit broader. And she also does celestial Rihani, celestial healing, which is using the angelic realm, because it was always her gift. So enjoy. This is honestly a casual, as I said, it's a casual natter. I was like, let's just record it, because there's always gold. I always believe there is so much gold in conversations, and I really do believe that they're here. Our conversations are here to heal each other and humanity. And if we heal humanity, we heal this beautiful planet. And that's what really touches my heart. So there you go. Enjoy this little natter with Laurie and me. Over out from Curious Bee.
Yay, we got our dissertations done.
Oh, I'm so glad. That was so intense. Because I wanted to really crack it. Like, I really wanted to, like, feel like I'd found a thing and it was right. You know, like it. Otherwise, I'd feel like I've done all this. I've had this opportunity, but I haven't got the most out of it. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine going into it and go, I'm going to be a butler. I don't know, and then you're like, that's really not what I want to do. And you spent all that time thinking about being a butler, but you want to be an artist. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I was like, and it was, but that was like a lot of pressure on me, having come from being so free, you know, and so free-minded, and just having the spaciousness of, I'm just going to let my soul guide me every step, you know, and see what what feels right and what comes through, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to make a decision. And that's kind of almost a little bit out of flow with the soul flow, kind of, kind of.
So did you change your like your diagrams and stuff at the end?
It kind of came the full circle because when I first, like the first module was like the whole conscious, it was like conscious living and conscious business. Because I don't, like, in my heart, my heart just breaks for what's happening in the world. Like, of all this, the what's happening to the land and the amount of houses and the kind of raping and pillaging of all our resources. And I guess that's why I've run away to here, because I'm like, it's like this little bit of yesteryear, like there's hardly anyone here, and not very many people can handle actually being, because there's no shop, we don't have a dairy, we don't have any shops here. You've got to go over the gnarly hill to get to 35 minutes, 40 minutes to get to a little town, and even then it's tiny. But I love it because I feel like I'm back into my beautiful childhood.
Oh,
And it's really comforting, and it just sends like chills down my spine. So the whole conscious living and conscious is like, I would, in my heart, I'd love a return, like a return to the connection and the gratitude of this beautiful planet, and being able to go and talk to your neighbor and not being in a hurry, and that. And simple things like you can make stuff, you don't need to buy stuff, and there doesn't need to be 6 million products. You only need 5 or 6. You don't need all those in your life. And it's like, that to me is like the conscious living, conscious business. And if businesses can, yeah, it'd be great to see a return where they but think before they produce. Like, is this good for my staff? Is this good for the people I'm selling to? And is this good for the earth and what my products are made from? That's kind of where I landed. And and what you're doing, and this whole like rise of 5D businesses, people being able to heal trauma and people, and illness, and through just coming, just actually like, just, coming back into like your body, and then that's a conscious business, because that's an improvement for humanity. And that's kind of like, it came the full circle back to, and if I can help by having conversations and having these little, like, for me, it's like the podcast is just a way of gathering strings of code, like of information, and then the
oh,
magic is like the snippets, because there's like, even the podcast you did, I was like, oh, there's gold. And if I can help with my design eye and I just, I hear the gold, to put those snippets together in a beautiful way, with curated B-roll, then if I can be the messenger to bring the gold through, because a lot of people might not have 30 minutes to listen to a podcast, but if I can then go, maybe be the curator and say, look,
right.
I love curating those little snippets, because that's the gold. Otherwise, there's all these beautiful podcasts out there. Most people don't have like 3 hours to listen to a podcast,
Right,
but
right.
they don't need to. There's like, how do you get the gold out of them and then curate them so that they're almost like, so that's one thing that I love. And then the whole founders stories, like I was saying this morning, like I just wrote a little voice note, because it's I believe that our voices have frequency, and some voices are really like, oh, really irritating, and others we find soothing. Like there's something that it's all right. It's like music, we can listen to some people can listen to heavy metal, like I can't. It's just like, my ears ring. There's different frequencies. So our voice is a frequency that this is just my, what, my,
Oh, it's
we have
true.
different things. So I think we've got things we've been through, and the medicine is how we got to the other side of them. So I believe that Like when you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going through this with my son, and you feel like you're the only one. But then when you have someone reach out and say, oh my goodness, I've been the same thing with my son, it's like, oh, that's the medicine that I needed in that, to get to
Right.
give
That
me
you're not
the strength.
alone in
Mm.
your thoughts. And it's easy. It's so interesting when we're so connected with the internet and the cell phones, but yet not. It's, I don't know. It's interesting. And you're correct. The vibrations from our voice definitely, yes, is a game changer. And that's my mission. That is my voice, is the harmonics to help people remember who they are and why they came here, and it's like to be, for them to be a mirror. It's like my voice is a mirror to help them remember who they are. So there's that.
Yeah, because at the center of my little of my well, the interlocking little, the what's it called, supernova or hologram, whatever, is like return to wholeness.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it's that remembering, because that really, I believe, is the ultimate. Like, we're
Hmm.
born whole, and then oh my goodness,
The
it's always
scramble happens after we
it's
leave the birth canal,
laughable.
and then the game is who can remember.
Yeah, I feel like it's a net, like a lion under a net, and you're just trying to get out of it, like
Mm.
get a little bit.
Ooh, that's a good visual. That
Yeah.
is, that
Oh, and
is.
then you've got
I
another
mean,
bit tangled around here, and you're like, oh, God, you think it's over? You go,
and for some of us, it takes a little bit longer, and some people don't. They stay in it. And some of them don't
yeah,
care. They like to be in it.
yeah, and they numb it, like the whole
Right.
alcohol and drugs, and it's so sad. But I think
Yes.
that people come down here, like, it's just all beach houses, and it's funny that you watch them. They come down, and there's me, like, no one comes to visit me. I'm like this kind of loner. It's all good. It's all good. And you just watch them. They come down and they go hard, and there's just bottles, and the recycle bin is filling up, and it's just like, but it's so beautiful here. Like, why don't you just sit and just land?
You're missing the point.
Yeah, and you hear them. I mean, it's kind of cool because it's old school, which I love, and they play games, all board games and stuff, which is beautiful. Like,
Mm.
I love that. That's really cool. But why can't you just do that without not being here? Why do you need to? Why do you need to put a veil? Why can't you just enjoy that moment without dumbing the moment? Or I don't know why I put it. So interesting.
Yep. 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 We love the ocean, that's for sure. But we do not live by the ocean.
Yeah, I think different people have different callings, whether it's spaciousness of, like, I think we all belong in different places, and that's okay.
Well, we have to
And you,
keep the world going around in our own way, right?
yeah, yeah, because if my mentor's just she's moved from being near the ocean, and then she hasn't had things, her soul path kind of turn her back into having to go back into Auckland City here, and yeah, and it's been really hard for her, like, to, yeah, but she's like, but she's needed, you know, right now. Like, she needs to be there because she's got so much, she healing, and so much wisdom, and so many tools to bring into a city that cities really need right now, because there's so much fear, and there's so much um what's that word, disconnection. I was going to make up a bigger one, but So the second thing, so is this, the stories for healing. Like I believe that we can, our stories will heal. And this and our why, like coming back to like the why, and that's the other thing. What's your why? Like what? Like you're like you have a why, and it's because you just said how that you're here to help people remember. That's your why. And if I can help people actually articulate their why and then turn that into a story that it's like kind of called a founder's story. So yeah, really go, why, and then the emotion behind that why. And yeah, because it's in my little bit of like research into my dissertation that we can actually connect on a brain level when you actually strike, when you tell your story and it hits an emotion, it actually cuts through. And that's so the future of marketing isn't marketing anymore. Like all those years of designing ads and billboards, people like
Right.
it's just like we've gone past that. That's just old. And now it's all about people connecting with people and
Hmm.
emotionally connecting. But I think it's through the why. Like if businesses have a purpose and it's a soul and it's for the greater good, then I think that they're going to be the most potent. That's why I call them conscious businesses. I think they're going to be the most potent businesses in the new world because they're not here for greed. They're like, no, no, I'm here because I've got such a mission and such a greater why. And and then if they can market from that and keep being authentic and keep showing up and keep being vulnerable and keep, and build community and have their customers supporting their vision and then that's a really, really, really powerful business. That is such a potent business.
I mean,
So that's kind of where
people
I got
people
to.
want to be a part because that goes along with people wanting to be a part of a community. And
Mm.
and that is, like you said, when they have their why is touches the client to like, yeah, I want to be part of that. That's so profound. It really is. I love that. I mean,
Mm.
if everybody was actually here to help each other, what a difference, what a difference it would be, right?
Beautiful, eh? Like
Hmm.
even I said it to someone the other day. I was just like, imagine like if people didn't, like a builder, didn't travel for I won't use cities with you, so you'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about, or towns, because you're like, I don't know. But they didn't travel from, for 45 minutes to go to a job. It's like, it should be like, you've got, because we've all got these skills in our communities. Like, we've got a builder and a painter and a handyman, they're all the practical ones. And then you've got a person that, in our new world that's a herbalist, a naturopath, a healer. It's like, we're all so different and that's what it used to be like in our very ancestral world, right? It was
Hmm.
all just
Hmm.
these beautiful communities and communities would come together and they would have, even like in our generation, they would have potluck dinners and they'd have, what happened to all that?
We
That
used to do that
communication.
growing up. We would have block picnics all the time. They were fun.
Yeah. So cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's that whole, but people are so busy traveling and it's the deceit, the just communism. Yeah, I started reading The Great Cosmic Mother. That's Have you read that yet or listened to
I have not. I have not. I was
it?
have it's good, huh?
It's like 52 chapters, and I'm listening to it on YouTube. A lovely lady called Cassandra, and it's really cool because she said she's a black woman, which is so beautiful. And it's written, she goes, I didn't want to read this book because it's written by a white woman. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then, but then she's like, this book is like basically a Bible. It's like the original religion of the earth. It's so amazing. It's so incredible.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay, okay, okay. Now that the course is done,
incredible.
I will go. I have it saved in my cart, but I just haven't purchased it yet.
Yeah, I think it's worth listening to it. It's
So,
just
so she's
amazing.
reading it on YouTube.
Hmm.
Oh, cool. All right. You'll have
Yeah,
to
so
send me
it's
the link
great.
for that.
Yeah, so you can just, as me, I can be doing my
I like to listen while I
cleaning
drive.
and yeah,
I
exactly.
still live in the city. So, oh yeah, but you have to drive far to get somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, over the hill. Yeah, doing yoga, doing, um, what you do, being a human. So yeah, no, that's amazing. I think that even gives more purpose to what we're doing because it's so important for us women to empower more women to step into their purpose and remember like how like women and Kate Northrup was amazing. Her Good with
Mhm.
Money course was incredible. Like that money in the hands of women is yeah just so powerful because we're just a little like just a little bit more connected. And when I meet some connected males, I'm just like when that have done the work and I'm just like and I've had like one guy just like put his hands under my neck and just give me like a goddess or a feminine activation. I'm like to get that permission from a male to 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 step into that is like you know is just absolutely yeah powerful, so powerful, eh?
I think the next couple of years are going to be very interesting to see what unfolds. We're moving at a faster pace for lots of new things unfolding, I think, which is
Mm.
exciting and scary at the same time because you just don't know what's coming next, especially with AI and all that.
Mm. So, what are your thoughts?
You know, I am just going breadcrumb by breadcrumb, I guess, if you will. That's kind of what I've been doing the last 2 years, just because it's so much information that is different that I thought for 58 years that I just have to have a minute to process. So that's why I take one class and then okay, then what's next? And so that's kind of where I'm progressing personally so that then I can help. And then the people that are guided to come find me, it's so cool because they are literally mostly on the same journey and but just a little behind me. So that I can, have some wisdom and guidance and, you know, share resources and help them. So I don't, I'm just, I think I'm just along for the ride at the moment just to see what's next. Now we really got to do it,
So,
you know.
what changes are you going to make? Because you're quite established, like you've got like a really strong offering, and your product suite quite set up. Like I know you've added like the packages, like that's been your extension.
Mhm.
But how do you see it being different now?
So what the top of my pinnacle in our course is I'm putting together uh, a luxury healing retreats. And so that is, so now I'm taking a course on that. I got connected to this really great course. I've just started it though. It's long as well, but very informative and has all the legal papers and feedback similar to what we did with Jessa's course. And so I'm putting that together, and that is really going to light my fire to be in an intimate place with 10 incredibly brilliant women that want to walk through a 5-day healing course that I have put together for them to really, I see it kind of as a launch for them into their next destination that they came here to do.
Yeah, so cool.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that they're real immersion and just being able to hold them as things come up, because it's like having a session with you. It's like you're just being able to then and be with others because I think that bouncing ideas thing is really beautiful because like there's not that many people in my world. I don't know if it's the same in yours that you like that you can just talk to. They don't get it. They're like, but a job is just something. I don't love my job. And they look at you like, huh? I'm like, hey, I'm just like, really?
Well, it's amazing if you can just step away for even just 5 days from everything and really just find yourself. I feel like Joe Dispenza hit the nail on the head with his, and that's my experience. I know there's lots of other retreats out there, but that was my experience of when I was gone for, I don't know if it was 5 days or I think it was 7 days. I can't remember, but it just really, when you don't have any, it's like a Kuna Matata on the Lion King. You just don't have any worries. You're there, you're immersing yourself, you're finding yourself. And I think that's just brilliant. People have to step away because we don't have that now. Like there's always so many demands all day long on everybody, kids included. So, just having that little me time away fills your cup so that you can come back and continue, filling everybody else's. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
cool.
it's going to be great. And then also what I loved that this course is promoting, and it's what Jessica's doing too, is then having a after the event community, so we can stay connected and keep our resources flowing with each other. And because you become friends, and then you're not just set out there to be wandering aimlessly again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's been my takeaway from the retreats I've done is that you like they're so potent, but then it's the integration piece. Because if you don't
Right.
have a way of if it's transforming you on a I'm gonna start following my purpose and on a business level, like because that's kind of like my path because I'm a serial entrepreneur, like um so, but if you don't have that piece of how you can integrate it afterwards, it's like so potent. But then it's just like slowly you'll just kind of slip back. But yeah, if you can have a roadmap and a container that holds you, and you're walking that same path together, then that's so important. Otherwise, otherwise you just become a serial retreat person, but you
Right.
don't.
You don't do anything
Yeah.
with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I
And
agree.
not and for me because I'm so I love the quiet. I love like just keep to myself and I need to I can't think about anything or focus or do anything until I have just my own space. I just like I'm just like paralyzed quite literally. So yeah, like my son's just gone overseas and I've been wanting to like, you know, have podcasts and create these communities. And I'm like, my son's just like in and out and in and out. And I'm just like, when am I supposed to schedule anything? It's like, when are you leaving? And when are you coming back? And then it was too hard. And I love my son. And I was, as he was such a serial workaholic in the 3D world, that I would just get my ex partner or my mum and dad to take my son away so that I could work. So for me, I'm just like I was totally okay with that because how beautiful was it to be actually be able to be. I know it took 18 years, but to actually be here and be available for him to talk his head off, you know.
Aw.
So it's totally fine. But he's like, Mum, I'm gonna go so that you can do your thing. It was so cute.
And what is he doing?
he's chefing, which is amazing because he can travel everywhere. And then he's going to get his skippers come back here in December. So I've got this little pocket of time to like, let's go. um, and then it might just be a little sabbatical, like between December and when he leaves again, which is that's the way a conscious business should be, because it's in harmony with your life and your family. And there are seasons, which is so what we learned was so potent, right? About the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Never really thought about that. Like that launch, it makes sense. So people come back from a holiday, and then that whole for me, it's like the summer holiday. I know you've got the opposite, and then that. But when the weather starts cooling down, people like it. Like it's perfect for me. I'm in the perfect season. It's getting colder. Summer's over. Oh well, nothing else to do, might as well do something inside. And then as it comes back to Christmas again, it gets warmer, it's like beach time. That's not a good time to launch a business because people are like, it's
Mm.
Christmas, it's warm, it's sunny. I'm just wanting to have my break in the 3D world. And then you wait and so it's actually quite interesting, like seeing that cycle, and there's bits in between that. But that was a really good a really good take home from yeah, because there's no point in launching at the wrong time. You're going to put all that energy and then feel bad that you've had no results. You're not meeting people where they are, right?
No results is not good.
No, it's not good for your self-esteem. No,
Oh my
but I
goodness.
love your I love I loved hearing about your because your childhood of being able to hear the ascended masters, like and because I was always a dreamer, like I was always a daydreamer. I'd live like I'd be in school, I'd be looking out the window, and I was having a whole amazing different experience. But and the teacher was like, "Oh my goodness!" It was always on my report. Oh, she's always in la la land. She's always dreaming.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
But it was so fun. I was having so much
I mean
fun.
that they said that. I was always on my report card that I was talking too much. And so now I laugh because I'm like, oh, now I get paid to talk. So
Yeah.
whatever. And you get paid to dream, you know? The la la land
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where it is.
So interesting, eh? But I never identified with what that was. It was just a hyper reality of reality. And it was so much fun. Like, yeah, so it's interesting that you related to, you were in conversation, but have I couldn't pinpoint that reality had in people, you know what I mean? Like I didn't get anything. Nothing came back. It was all, I don't know how
Ah,
to
got it.
describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, and then my mum, like, because I was never baptized or because I was so unwell as a child. And I want to say too much because I'm going to have my session with you. So I really want to, like, it's going to be so interesting to see what comes through uh, in regards to, yeah, because when in your podcast that you shared with your friend and how long her mum had held on to her in the womb, that was so mind blowing. And her fear of water, and God, that was so interesting.
It was so, I was, as I was getting ready to make her healing meditation, because I go through this form that they fill out and they tell me their health history. And what's interesting is really it's defined what's in between there, because of what the in between is usually the issue. And I was just kind of copying and pasting what she had filled into a form where I go through things. And I just hit her birthday and I was like, I could feel something. Like I had to hold my breath when I was like, okay, that's new. I haven't had that with I mean, I usually just write their birthday down and then they start with what's going on with them, you know. And that's why I messaged her. I said, tell me, is there some, so before I make the meditation, if I feel like there's something that needs to be addressed, I need to be obviously in communication with my clients. So, anyways, is there something around your birthday? Are you claustrophobic? Like, what is going on with that? And she said, oh my gosh. And yeah, and she's even said she deals with like walking pneumonia a lot, which is water in the lungs and so forth. So we're working on clearing that frequency from her, which is really exciting.
Yes, I love the way that you're working with like that you call that like working with allergies. But that like my understanding of an allergy is like hay fever and grass and pollen and dairy and gluten and histamines and
Right.
that I don't think about an allergy being that like
Allergic to
something
your
that
birth date?
yeah or allergy to water like
Yeah.
that would you almost call that was an allergy to water, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's so like that opens this whole I know because I'm really scared of heights, but I feel like I might have be pulling through it, which is like
That's
hmm
big. Yeah, that's great.
mm, mm,
So, yeah, and because allergies can be like someone can get an allergy to gluten or dairy if they have a traumatic experience happen while they're eating that as a child. So, if mom and dad are arguing and it's a really bad experience and they're eating ice cream, their body, their subconscious doesn't know enough to think that it's like, oh, this dairy product is what's is bad. Like what is because the child is feeling something bad and it's associating the dairy with that. So then they become lactose intolerant when in fact it has to do with emotions around what's going on in their home.
mm.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, because that's the same as not the same, but it's in parallel with what when Kate Northrup talks about money. It's that first experience, that
Right.
emotional experience with money, is the same that trauma or that that experience, whether it was positive or negative, it actually plays out, and I've definitely experienced the same thing with money, like. That I'd spent all my pocket money. I came back. Mum was like, oh, "You spent all your money," and I remember this sick feeling I get that every time I go to
Oh.
spend money, I'm like, and I'm like, and it's same feeling.
And what's interesting is that the parents don't know. They were just reacting. Like to them, it was just another day. Like, we need
Yeah.
apples and oranges at the grocery store. Okay. So, that's what I tell my daughter is a new mom ish. She has a 5-year old and a 1-year old. And, they're more aware of parenting and what you say and what you do than we were. We were just like, oh, I hope they live to tell about another day. We weren't thinking about, are the words that I'm saying impacting their life in a dramatic way, or how do they sleep? Do they cry at night or not let them cry? Or how do you deal with punishment? Is more about how do you feel instead of just give them a little pat on the booty. So there's a shift in how things are happening, and to have their kids have a better experience. And I keep just saying, hey, I don't care if you do everything perfect. It's how they perceive what you said. Even if it was the exact perfect thing, how they perceive what you said and it made them feel is what they'll go to therapy for. You can't do it perfect because you
No.
can't control how other people perceive what you're saying. And now, I granted being more aware of how we're saying things than just, we talk about, in my previous career, we talked about thinkers and feelers and how thinkers will just say, and I'm more of a thinker, so I'll just say what I was thinking, not with the intention to hurt your feelings. I'm just saying my thought. Whereas, and like if somebody gives a thinker a compliment, you think about it. Is it true? And you're like, meh. yeah, or nah, that's not true. Whereas a feeler thinks about it and just like, oh, that just touched my heart. You know, the words have a different meaning to them, and thinkers don't. I mean, kind thinkers aren't trying to hurt somebody's feelings. We're just saying what we think. But if you haven't learned that, then that can hurt a lot of people's feelings. That was kind of rambly, but it's true. Like one time I remember, I'm like, okay, you know, when you're a parent, you can remember a couple times that like, oh, that probably screwed her up. When I did that, probably messed her
Yeah.
up. But I remember going up to her bedroom to tell her something. What I don't even remember what the topic was, but she was laying on her bed and she was not happy about something. I just remember the scenario, and I said something to her, and she was really upset, and she said, "You could have said it kinder," and I truly didn't think I was being unkind, but it was how I said it, the frequency of how I said it and how it reached her came out that was unkind. And then from then on, I will tell you that shaped me from that point on. Now I haven't remembered 100% of the time because we are human, but I do. I pause before I say something. I'm like, okay, I don't think this is wrong, but is anybody else going to think this is wrong? You know.
Crazy, crazy.
But there's no way to be perfect, you know, and you just have to give yourself grace, and you just have to know that we're doing the best we can, and we all came to learn whatever lessons, karmic lessons, whatever we came to learn, and that's all you can do, you know.
Yeah,
Try to make the world a better place.
absolutely. Conversation by conversation. Hey, just supporting people, holding people, being there for people,
Right.
showing them that you care, that, yeah, the good old, yeah, conversations are really powerful, eh? I love conversations.
Yeah. And yeah, it's life is very interesting, that is for sure. And you're always learning, and that's exciting. Well, hopefully people are always learning. If you're not, then I recommend that you do. Pick
Yeah,
up a
like
book,
us,
listen to a podcast.
yeah, and like us, perpetual students, forever students. Is that the right word? Yeah, just I don't know where I'm going to be in like 3 years' time. Like if I keep on this path of like, just done Reiki, like, and then have what that's brought into my life, and then I'm like, the whole inner child thing fascinates me, and then I mean the Akashic Records with what you're doing is absolutely, yeah. I'm like super excited to do that with you. And when yeah, adding like Reiki and like what you were saying about Reiki being coming from the earth, I picked up on that. And your Rihani is more the celestial, which makes sense about your path, like
Right.
that you have been in that connection with the angelic realm. And I've kind of been with my permaculture, like really in connection with the earth. And isn't it interesting the way how that path, and I shared on my last post that I'd been in the forest, and I'd picked up my son's child, like I just, he was like 9 or something, and I was like, but in my mind I was like thinking that he was my son. It was a really weird thing. It was, but I wasn't, I overthinking it. And I picked him. I think he dumped his weight on me, and I felt my back because you know, my back is my messenger. And yeah, I went out into the. I was so upset that I'd hurt myself. It was like late at night. I went out into the forest. And I just put my hands on the ground, and I just said, "Please, please, please. I just want to be able to take the pain away. I just want to be able to. Could you please help me?" And I was like, "Please, please, please." And yeah, so it was interesting how. And then like yeah, Reiki, was just a thing. The word that came in, just like permaculture came in, and yeah, but the combination, imagine having the combination of what you're doing, like Reiki this way and that way.
Get
Like,
it covered all the way around.
Where they go?
I started to say
What?
360 degrees, but that it's really not. It's like infinity.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Because they're all just channels, right?
Right, exactly. And I think that's why it didn't seem weird to me when I heard about the Rahani celestial healing, because it was like, oh, I can work with them in a deeper, more profound way. That's cool. All right, yeah, I want to be attuned to that and offer that to people. So that was a really great. But again, one thing like I did a QHHT appointment that led me, and she said I should contact this person in London to do like a home clearing kind of thing. And then when I went on his website, I saw him on a podcast, and he was being interviewed. And I was like, ooh, who's interviewing him? I loved her energy and her voice. Back to the frequency again. And I said, I think I'm supposed to meet her. And then she's the one who attuned me to Rouhani over Zoom. So it's pretty neat.
That is cool. That is cool. And so the Akashic Records, like, how did that cross your path?
That's a funny one. In fact, I just had a reading right before this, and it was so amazing. I mean, just the information that people get. So it's the records that hold your soul's entire journey, and from inception. And I that's I'm trying to think. Because I had heard this girl on a podcast, and she was doing business tarot readings. And then I thought, oh, okay, that must be safe since it's business and not personal. So I could be able to safely do that, because I didn't know what any of that was a few years ago. And so she was in Canada, and so I thought that was safe. She was far away as well. And so I did this with her, and it was very fascinating, and everything she said was true. And I thought, wow, that's neat. And she said, but you can help clear some of this out if I do this Reiki with you. And I had never heard those words before. I didn't know what that was. And so I felt like she was trustworthy. And so she did this Reiki session with me over Zoom. And then at the end of the session, I said, well, where are you getting this information from? I'm thinking, how does she know this? And that's when she said she was getting it from the Akashic Records. And then, of course, it's like, again, breadcrumb. What are the Akashic Records? And then she told me that, and it made no sense to me. So she told me a book to get, and I went and got the book and read it. And then nothing happened. And I was so disappointed, because talking to guides and things just was a natural to me. But this was a different application of connection. And so and then somehow on Facebook, I saw an ad for an Akashic class. And of course, they're listening.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, fine, I'll take the class. And, my kids are grown and out of the house. I need something in addition to my career. I needed something else to do rather than just sit and watch mind-numbing TV or whatever. So I took the course, and turns out I could connect to that. I think I just needed the confidence that it was real, and the practice, just with anything. And so when we had to do 20 practice sessions, by the time I'd just done my second one, the readings were incredible. And I thought, wow, this is super helpful for people. So I will continue with that. And that's what I did. And then literally the day that ended, the energetic allergy healing course started. And so I like synchronicities. So that kind of I thought, okay, I mean, I'm on a roll now. I may as well keep going. And so that's when that one came around, and that was fascinating as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it's that whole putting those pieces of the puzzle, like knowing what your gifts are. Like
right.
that's what I love about this constant search. Because sometimes like you kind of know, but it's like you just need that that
I just want
confirmation.
someone else to tell me.
Yeah, Belinda, you are meant to be.
Yes.
Da, 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 da.
I
Yeah.
want the
Oh,
message
thank you.
in the bottle. I want it to come in my mailbox with a big magic marker on it that says, "You do this, and you are good at it."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And people are gonna love you and you're gonna be this is what you're meant to be doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, funny. But yeah, and then so that in combination with the healing, with the allergy thing, like that's really powerful because yeah, it's that whole limitations. Like you go, right, I know what I'm doing, but then just having if we can just unblock some kink, the old unkink the kinks and the hoses,
Right.
then that's going to make you more successful at this amazing gift, bringing this gift to life. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it is. It's so fun. And then, like I said, on the Rahani Celestial Healing, what's neat about that is like the Akashic record readings are typically, done on your own because sometimes things will come up that, are personal and you don't want, 15 other people listening to it. But the Rouhani Celestial Healing, what I have learned is that I do a couple group events a month, and those are equally as powerful. And so, just like in Reiki, so I have them go camera off during the group Zoom session, and they can lie on their bed, they can fall asleep. That's just their conscious mind getting themselves out of the way for the healing. And I play angel frequency music, and and the and people fill out a little health thing so I can kind of I know for sure things that I want to reach out to, touch, with the different guides, but then different things will come in just randomly, and at the end people can come back on and share their experience if they want, depending on where they live. Sometimes it's later at night, like 10 o'clock at night, because they're on a different time zone, and so they typically are like whacked out tired. But people can come on or not, and they share their experience, and it's literally every time it's profound. And so I think that's pretty cool that you can do group things like that, and it can speak to everybody.
Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. It's
Yay!
really relaxing. They can usually sense or see or feel the angel frequencies. They come in different colors on different rays. And a lot of times people will say, "Oh my gosh, I saw this color, this color, this color." And they literally say it in the order that I called them in. So I find that really, really awesome too. But not everybody. Some people just, they can't, and that's okay too. They still receive the healing. Their bodies, even though their body doesn't, it's not an immediate. Sometimes it is. I've had people with toothaches, neck aches, back aches, um, stuffed clogged noses that has gone by the time the session's done. So I just don't. I'm just the vehicle. That's what I tell people. I'm not the healer. I'm the vehicle that your guides and angels and archangels can come in and do the healing with you. They have to want it. Sometimes people hang on to drama, whether it's health issues or financial issues or whatever, because it's a comfort zone. It's they're used to. I mean, I've been used to complaining about things. You just like it's your habit, and then if you get rid of that habit, what who are you? And so you have to really want to have a change in it, like really want to have a change for it to happen.
Absolutely.
That's why we have to go to the subconscious.
I remember someone sharing like to wear like a band around your wrist, and then every time you go speaking negative about something, like you ping it.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's a good. You know what? Another thing, also another tip, just in a different, less painful way, although a little more intrusive, is I set my alarm on my phone for every hour, starting at like whatever time you want to start, 8 or 9 in the morning, and then I turned it off at 7 at night. I can only handle so much, but every hour it would remind me. It would go off to remind me, what am I thinking? What state of being am I in? Am I joyful? Joy is my birthright. right? And am I stressed? Like, what am I thinking? So I catch myself off guard with the alarm going off. But what's really neat is I name like, each of my times. Hold on a second. I've got whoopsie. Helps if you pull up in the right app. So like the first one says, I'm successful every day. The next hour it says, I'm healthy every day. The next one says, abundance is effortless. My body is sacred technology. It doesn't say it says every day, but that's not what I typed in. It's just that I wanted it to happen I set it to do every day. I am wonderful. I am free. I am better than ever. I am a winner. I am wise. I am enjoying the present moment. so, so I do that for periods of time. That's not an always thing that goes on, but if you do that, you have to make sure in the morning, check when your appointments are, because you don't want to have your little alarm go off in the middle of an appointment. That would be awkward, because even if your ringer's off, that alarm is still going to go. So I've had many awkward moments with that, but it's okay. When I tell them what it is, they're always like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do that. And then I have, it's not an annoying sound, because if it's annoying, then again, it's like kind of, what you said at the beginning, the sound of voices and so forth. So I found ringtones. I don't even know. I did it a few years ago. So I bought these ringtones that are like, how do you say it? I can't say that word, solfeggio frequencies. And so they're positive frequencies that play at that time. So that way it's not an annoying sound when my alarm goes off. Anyway, that's a fun tip.
That's cool. Yeah, because if you can catch really, really good friend of mine, she's going back to India to study the Ascended Masters.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, um, so and she's just been there, and then she's going back. But then she said to me, like, I had the most beautiful phone calls with her, and she said, if we can catch the thought before it becomes the thought, then that was her take home from her last trip there. There's a challenge.
I think what it is you have 17 seconds to catch it, and not oh to so you have 17 seconds to catch it, so it doesn't become an emotion. It's when you attach an emotion to the thought, that's where things go downhill.
Perfect.
If it's just a thought and you can let it go, then great. But if you have a feeling about it, then now, because Joe Dispenza teaches this, the thought sends it out and the feeling brings that reality to you. So if you're constantly feeling, I don't have enough money, if you're constantly thinking, I don't have enough money, and then of course that would bring a feeling, then you just keep bringing that cycle back to you. Or I never lose weight, or I can't do this, or whatever. Don't attach a feeling to it. Just as soon as you think it, just picture it just wafting away. And you know what? So here's another way to look at it too, is to thank it, because it's your part of your body that's trying to protect you, whether it's your inner child, your subconscious, or whatever. It's sending you a signal to protect you for some reason. They think it's protecting you. And so if you send it away with gratitude instead of frustration, that also makes a big difference. Thank you for that thought, but I don't need that. I don't need that thought. It doesn't apply to me now. So that's a really good thing to do, is to not get frustrated with yourself. You just acknowledge it and go, meh. But that's not true. Thank you. And then send it on.
Wrap it up in a little, what did you say? In a little rose.
Yes, the permission rose. Yes, you have your permission rose in front of you, because it's the perfect shape to absorb frequencies and the geometric shape of it. And you just picture it just outside of your aura or your energy field, whatever you want to call it. And it's absorbing other people's things, but if it comes from you, you might just have to go bonk on yourself and send the send the rose away with that frequency. But yeah, you want to collect it and let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah,
What's next?
exactly. Because you're
Happy
great.
thought.
You're perfectly made. You are
Oh,
perfectly made, and you just have to know it.
oh, yes. Yeah. We're amazing. We just forgot,
Yeah.
but we're slowly remembering.
What's that?
But we're slowly remembering.
Exactly. Some of us took longer than others. I tell you what, I see all the videos with those young kids that are just saying all these profound things, and I think, holy cow,
Mm.
just think of, like, why didn't you start me off like, because we'd have been sent away to an asylum back in our younger years when if we'd have talked like that, but now it's like, wow, that is truth. Speak.
Mm. Yeah, totally. No, it's super sad. I think I thought about it last year how, these people that, have a mental condition and then they don't realize, but then they take a drug and they suppress it. But that was the
Right.
opportunity. That was their opportunity of like, of opening to something so magnificent. But it's kind of sad. It's really sad. It's a
Yeah, a
pain to be
lot of
honest
that
with
is
you.
definitely coming out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't focus on sadness, but it is, like wow, like the brilliance that could have come through, but it was squashed.
I think what was really cool is that the podcast, the telepathy tapes, have you listened to that?
Ooh, I've heard of it.
Yes,
So
where
much to
the
listen to.
autistic kids are communicating
Oh,
telepathically with many of them with their parents, with each for sure with each other. I mean, they're so connected. There's no veil for them. They're connected to all of the guides and so forth. And wow, that's just so incredible.
mm, so cool. So nice to chat. So cool.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
So cool. So yeah, I'll fill out my fill out my form.
Oh,
We'll
yes,
see
yes, yes. Fill
see
out your
what.
form.
Yeah. It just I'm so fascinated. Like see what comes up. And yeah, don't want to say too much, because otherwise, so
Yeah, yeah, just let it go. We'll see what comes out of it.
we're gonna see how clever you are.
It's not me.
That's true. How clever
I am
they are.
clever, but not that clever.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
cool.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
See ya.
Bye.